Hey, sister. How are you? And what are you doing? What are you doing? I got a little bored. I was like, oh, let me go live for a few minutes and say hi. Hi, K baby. How are you? And how was your day? Joy, what's going on, lady? Yeah, I'm doing okay, girl. Girl, watching the sun do what it do out there. It's hot. It's scorching today. I'm glad you're doing good, K baby. Yeah. But girl, it got cooking hot today, you guys. Yeah. And then, I'm on the inside, then you need a little jacket to put on because they got the air on 10. It's on 10. It's beautiful. I know it's got to be hot down there because I think it got up to like 96, 98. Yeah, it got hot. But I happen to like it. I like the heat, but I'm learning now, getting older. It's like, okay, can't be out there like you could back in the days. Hi, Dad. Hi, sweetheart. Can't be out there like that, though. So I must have stepped outside and I was like, baby. Oh, but I keep water with me all the time. I'm always on my life water, you guys. I was sitting and adding that up because I buy like 4 boxes every 2 weeks. Like, oh, which isn't bad. It isn't bad. They like, I could get them for like $9 a case or so, depending on where I go. Hi, Harlem. How you doing? How are you today? Enjoying your heat today? Because I know it's got to be heat nation that is around the globe right now. If it's hot over here, it's definitely got to be hot around the freaking globe. Yeah. So, what y'all doing today? What are y'all doing today? What are y'all doing? Nobody. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Good to see you too. Beautiful. Are you done building down there, Harlem? You should be just about getting off work too. Harlem is. Nobody. What's the temperature where you are? Because I know you're not in the States, right? Oh, you work for home, girl. Okay, jealous. Well, my sisters work. I got 2 sisters work from home, and I be asking them like, do they get bored? So, hey, beauty me. I don't know. I would. I'm trying to think if I would get too bored being at home working. I don't know. And then I know my sister in Arizona. She was like, "Girl, I get up and get dressed sometimes because I'm like, do you get dressed normally like you would do?" And she goes, some days I don't. Shoot, I get up and get a shower and put on some comfortable pajama sets and be sitting, right there. And I'll be like, oh, okay. All right. It's been in the 70s. Also, you guys got the heat wave coming your way. Okay. But it's not. I love it. Let me tell you what I don't. Well, I ain't going to say I don't like it because I understand the era that we're in, the changes that has that comes and passes with us ladies and stuff. It's just the more hotter it get, baby, these girls be out of their clothes, honey. I think that in order to get it under control, and I don't know if I'm wrong for saying this, but I'm just going to speak my opinion. For a lot of the business corporations out there, such as Walmart or Target and stuff like that. Let me ask you a question though. Would it be discriminating if there was a dress code to come into the stores? You think that they would have to go through a lot of trouble on narrowing the dress code to, something that would be presentable out in the public? Or do you think that the women should be able to continue to freely wear minimum clothing when they come in the stores? What do y'all think? Because, baby, I be in, what was that the other day? I was in, what was this, Sunday? Sunday, I ran out to Walmart and Menards to the car wash. I did quite a few things, my mom, right? And I promise you, it's like every which way you turn, you just starting to see, butts in tatas, right? And I'm like, and it wasn't even like a hot day today. I don't want to throw it to securities or insecurities, right? I just kind of, because I don't think it's about that. You know, I think it's just about the trend, and we just follow the trend of what's out. I don't know. What do y'all think? Cause when I tell you it was half naked women all up in Walmart, and then another thing, it'll be my mom. 'Cause my mom would be like, "Oh my God, does anybody wear clothes anymore?" And then I'll stand there and say something like, "Well, Mom, I mean, it's kind of hot out, guess. It's not like they're fully nude, but I just be wondering, like, do y'all think that it would help if the corporations out here would kind of put a dress code up and then kind of define it where it will bring, hi, Purple Purple, the us ladies back into covering it up when it's necessary to cover it up. But then you'll have where it's arguing. The argument would be, well, what is considered necessary? And then, of course, the main argument, First Amendment, I have the right to do this, I have the right to do that, I have the right to do that. Then you have the argument with the others, like some of the, let's say the older, let's say grandma. Well, I can't say grandmas because I'm a grandma, but the older 80s. You remember when Cicely Tyson did that movie? And I think was it Janet Jackson? Forget the other girl, the other artist, actress that played in that movie. And they sat at the table, and I think that, was it Janet or some of them, they came in, and they had on short shorts and tank tops and stuff, but then it was the way that they was dancing, and then the older generation was like, just no shame, they just over there whispering about the younger generation. I think about that, all the time. But I was just wondering, should there be like a dress code going into established businesses, and will that help reduce um, the amount of women that chooses to, yeah, Medea family reunion, girl. I had that lady, in my head all the time. And, it's like, just no shame. Just look at her. And I was, like I said, I was out at Walmart. Now, I could go into Menards, and you don't see it in Menards. Up here, I find that there's not that many Black American younger generation that shops Menards. Not even Home Depot. It's like those are mostly white Americans and other race and color of people up in there. Black people don't come in there a lot. I'm a Menards shopper. I love me some Menards because I like recycling my the money that I get back. You say you two, we couldn't wear it in the family. But that's our era. That's our generation. That's our time. It's like, oh, we didn't do much of that. You remember when, the uncles and people would come over and your mom or your dad would like, okay, go in there and put some clothes on because, Uncle John is coming over and the family are coming over. So yeah, you got to, get a little bit more presentable, right? So, but now it appears to be not as effective with the parents now. It's like, okay, this is the clothing wear that they're making, so let's do this now. Coda has I don't know, maybe about four pair of those short shorts, like what Beauty addressed her about when she was on the patio. And we were out there having, some family time. Now, I can tell you, Coda Bear is not wearing those outside. She will put on better presentable clothes. I'm talking about outside doing a long period of time of daily activities. No, but if she like, let's say she's running around a corner or whatever to run in a dollar store to get some of them darn hot chips or something like that, she'll go in there, but I still feel like some type of way about it, because it only does take a second, and we all know that when we're talking about kidnapping or something like that. So, but long as, she be right back, then I know she's not outside all day prancing about in short shorts. But Beauty did say something. She's like, oh, what is my niece doing? Where is Coda Bear going with them short shorts on? But when I watched Beauty me posted that up in the chat, it made me think, am I doing a good job, with Coda Bear? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing good because it's something that I just don't refrain from bringing to her attention at all times. So she doesn't wear them, out daily or so. It's a lot, girl. And it's like I don't knock it. I don't think I knock it. Wear like what you want to wear, but I think that it's a time and a place for it. So like up in here, right, baby, we have a new chief in town, right? And we've had a few ladies that had to go home and change. You cannot no longer wear leggings up in here. She's changed that. She's changed the dress code. Now, don't get me wrong, because there's not a lot that she can change by it um, without an agreement coming from the other sides of the people whom she has to sit down and speak with, and that's because there's already language in place. So if there's something that's missing in the language that she would like to discuss about it, and we would agree to do some amending on it, and we both sign off on it, and that was fine. Now, I am fighting that case about restricting the females from wearing the leggings because, like I said, it wasn't in the language. However, um, she's identifying it with a word that is in the language that she feels that it pertains to what she's trying to enforce. So, of course, to get clear understanding of it, that had to be sent out, and I'm waiting to get a response back from, what we would call the CAD department. And they would usually go over a lot of it so that, you know, if they send it back saying in her favor that this is what that means and blah, 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 then I'll have to sign. And of course, it'll be a restriction up in here for the ladies. And these ladies loves wearing their leggings here, but um, if I have to sign, then a lot of them will lose that privilege to do so. And they was upset. Now, we had a few girls, these are the younger girls, And of course, the summer months, it's warming up out there. I mean, like these are the younger girls in here, 20, 21, 22. And, they wear their short shorts. Now, they've been wearing these short shorts for a while. But like I said, we have a new sheriff in town. Now, I don't know about you guys' places of business or so, right? But in here, we do have the language that they cannot be no higher than 2 inches above the kneecap. Well, of course, these are, around the thigh area, just a little bit below the butt cheeks, right? And baby, when I say she came through here and was sending people home, they were upset. They wasn't happy about that. It's like, okay, tank tops. Tank tops is prohibited now. She put that on the list. And it seems like though all of the wear was more so focused on the women in here. However, we have men that wear tank tops too. So I'm gonna go out on a rim and say, well, that applies to them as well, because I have not seen any men in tank tops in here. So, hi, Serena. Yeah, yeah. So, oh, Wanda, raising the babies, raising these babies. Um, it's a great experience. I remember the times going to church with my mom, and the pastor would talk about letting the baby remove itself from the attachment to the nest, right? Coda bear is one that I'm struggling with, and I had this conversation too with somebody, right? She wants to go. She wants to go do this. She wants to go do that. She wants to, get her own apartment. She's ready to go and do life, but she just turned 20. And I'm struggling with it, right? To say, well, okay, go do this, go do that. I know one thing that makes it so hard for me to easily say, okay, go ahead, give it a try, is because I see so much going on in the world, right? And it's like I got that guard up, with her, like I did with the other ones, even though I gave Tasha had a little bit of wiggle room there, but her outside and stuff, well, after she did something around 17 going on 18, Tasha felt the rapture, honey, because she had a birthday, and I told her to be in the house. I said, I know you're turning 18, and it was a really big bash party for so many people, and it was at the Holiday Inn, and this one, it didn't close until 4, but I said, okay, Tasha, you'll be headed home by 2:30. Now I locked my doors down, okay. I think Tasha must have showed up, baby, somewhere around 3:15, quarter to 4. She couldn't get in. She couldn't get in. Girl, that girl had a fit on me and blah, blah, blah. No. And why'd your friends leave you? Because you knew I wasn't going to let you in. Tasha didn't get in that house, and she slept right out there on that porch. Don't play with me. But it was easy for me to say, well, okay, she's ready. She showed me that she can handle the adult life around 23. So she was like, oh, get me a place and blah, blah, blah. And I was okay with that. Then we get to Nisha. Nisha was about 24. And then she had Kiwan somewhere around up in there, right? And I felt, okay, well, she showed me that she's ready. Like, okay, you got to go be a parent. But Coda Bear, girl, I'm like, oh, you just turned 20, just giving me a minute, right? However, there's some parents that's like, okay, all right, you're done. You graduated. Get on up out of here. It's time to get on. Get your money. Go do this. Go do that. I thought I was going to, you know, I thought it was going to be easy for me to kind of say, like really, oh, like exhale, my job is done. Even though I know our jobs are never done, because as the older they get, they still gonna call and do this because and want to be around the parents, the mom or the dad or whatever, right? Because I can't get enough of my mom, and I miss the heck out of my dad. I miss my dad so much, y'all. But I know my dad would want me to keep moving forward and keep embracing life. Just keep moving, right? So I know how he is, right? But I do. I struggle with, Coda. So the conversation I had, I was like, maybe if Coda Bear come to me and say, Mom, I'm going to go, such and such, give this a try, such and such and such, right? I feel like that I might say, okay, sounds like a good idea. Be safe. I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. But she always come and ask me, Mom, what do you think about, boo, 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 boo? And I'd be like, absolutely not. And so I'm thinking, oh, like, like, is it me? Is it her? When she asks me or to, see what I think about her idea on trying different avenues out here, right? So she can go and challenge the obstacles in the world. When she asks me, I'd be like, nope, absolutely not. So I'm wrong for that, right? But if she would just tell me, especially turning 20 now, I think there's a part of me that might say, okay, be careful, just let me know and all of that. So, and I'm working on it. I'm working on me with that. I'm like, okay, she's getting up. She's growing up and she has grown into a very mature young lady. You know, you say your son left when they wanted to leave me, and girl, I think that's what I'm trying to evade. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be sad, even though it feels good, like with her and going away for the school. But I'm like, okay, well, she's coming back, and she's not that far, and of course she can come home and do the laundry. She's got an hour drive, and so I was okay with that. But we I watch those videos and I see the moms are so dancing and stuff. We're talking about, so, ooh, emptiness, emptiness. I struggle with that because I built my home for family. But I also know that, you can't, your family, your immediate ones, your kids, I guess can't live with you forever. They're going to be up in your house until you're 40 or 50. Then you're going to have those days like, oh my God, when are you moving out? When are you leaving? So I struggle with that, but I'm getting better at it. You know, it's like I know she's going to have to, go on and give it a try. I do not want to see her go through any hurtful things in her life, whether if it's the boyfriend, if it's financial, you know, being disappointed by particular jobs that she will apply for. It's like, I don't know, I think Coda would, maybe not, because I think she has went through her challenges of rejections, especially with friends and things like that. So I think maybe she's prepared for that too, because like I told her, everything is not going to be handed down to you with the golden spoon. Nobody gets anything handed down to them with the golden spoon. So some areas of where you searching and a certain direction that you're hoping to get something and feel that you're qualified to get it and you've done everything that you can get it is still going to be measured and possibly judged by someone who feels that you shouldn't get what you're asking for. So I try to prepare her also for that, qualities, equalities is just, that crazy measurement depending on who's holding the key to your qualities and equalities of what you're looking and hoping to grasp in life, momentarily or permanently. And that's the sucky part. It's gonna be somebody higher up in control and can just devastate you, you know? Not only that, they have their descriptive freaking um, paperwork that says, who to give it to and who not to give it to. So, gotta be careful about that too. So, but yeah, very nervous. But I think that, overall, I'm getting better with it. I still wake up though, Wanda, because it's summer now and school's out and stuff like that, and she's working. But I still will wake up like, I don't know, about 2, 3 in the morning, and I'll go looking, like, oh, her door's closed. Wonder if Cold is here, not knowing I got cameras up, right? I'm like, why don't I just look at the camera? This is what she told me one day. Wanda, she says, Mom, what do you keep coming in here waking me up for? Can't you just look at the camera and see that the car is outside? I say, oh, yeah, I forget about that sometimes. Like, you do that all the time. Just look at the camera. I'm like, I'm just checking, Code. I'm just checking to see if you're in. That's all. I'm just, and not only that, it depends. Like when I get off, the times that I get off, because my hours are shifting, from early to late, from early to late. And sometimes when I come on, like, she'll be in their sleep, but it'll be like a whole day that I haven't heard her. Like, I haven't heard your voice. It might be 2 days or so. I haven't heard Nisha's voice. I'm like, okay, let me call Nisha. Now, Tasha is anal, right? Tasha in her, I don't know what the hell. Like, she definitely has a lot of my personality, right? And so you can call and be like, what, Mom? Like, oh, I just talked to you last Saturday. I said I love you. I said I love you for 5, 6 days. She's like, well, call me back on day 7. That's Tasha. Tasha make you feel like everybody is annoying to her, but she love you to death. But that's, and I look in the mirror, I'm like, that show is me. I just I just laugh at her. So, what's funny? I'm like, could you stop mirroring me? I'll appreciate that. Can you find your own identity? Jesus Christ. DNA, man, DNA. So I have 3 funny, uh, personalities that I deal with. It'd be so funny to me. You say your oldest, he's been on his own since he was 18. Did you cry? What was that like, Sabrina? Like, your baby is leaving, your second son, since he was 26, and then your third baby, the last 2 years, and he was 24, but he's back with us. Okay, and your baby girl, she still lives with you, but we're talking about like your oldest, your firstborn. What was it like? Was it easy for you because your firstborn had the siblings coming up behind them? So the 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 child and parenting life was still there for you. So you didn't become empty all at once. It's you still had that whole mom, can you tell mom, can you drop me off? And mom, so you still kind of had some of that going on. I wonder, do you miss stuff like that? Do you miss taking them to the dentist? Do you miss dropping them off at school? Do you miss going to the playgrounds with them? What can you say you actually really missed about your babies? If they, with them growing up now. You say if he needed anything, he always called. Yeah, well, that's what's up. That's what's up. You was okay with him leaving because he is never too far. Well, then why am I struggling with it? Because I know Coda Bear ain't going to be too far, but I struggle with that. So, too far to me is a mile away. Oh, okay, so you're good. He's 3 minutes away there. So it's still like having your baby at home. Yeah, yeah, crazy. Yeah, it's weird to me. But I get that that's life. I know when, because us growing up in a home on the west side of Chicago, he's raising his three kids. That's what's up. That's what's up. But, and I remember when my brother left, girl, we were so happy. We was like, yes, get on up out of here. Then my oldest sister left, and girl, me and Step and Diane, we threw a party. Girl, we was like, okay, all right, Then it was just tapering off one at a time, one at a time. Then I finally left, and then the little ones were still around there, and then when they got, you know, 18, 19, they finally left. So one of my sisters, she left to go to school in Texas, and she came back with a whole goddamn Mexican girl, married. She was married and everything. So my mom and dad wasn't too happy about it because we was like, what? Who is this? And what? She had taken up Spanish and all that stuff. So um, he, my sister, Mexican husband, right? He made my parents love him. He did. He was putting it on them, y'all. He wasn't letting them, treat him differently or any of that. It was like after, a couple of months when they came back, and then, of course, they laid low at my parents, and then they bought their first home, right? And then they moved out. So, but when I tell y'all, he was not having no grudging, no negative, no nothing. He brought that work to my mom, and my dad's like, I'm son-in-law, and this is what it's gonna be, and I love your daughter, and of course, he'll speak a little Spanish here and there, like we don't understand Spanish, but today, he's older, but they had three kids, and he's still the same freaking person. But when he came up through that door, it was like he sat my mom and dad down. Now listen here. I know this is a whole surprise and blah blah blah. He got to talking about how they met and blah blah blah. And Jenny on the block, she got her grades and all that stuff. I think they had the same major too, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think she changed hers, but it might have been veterinarian or something like that. But then they turned into tequila drinkers. Them some tequila drinking people, y'all. But um, they hold their own. Can't say that alcohol has ever been in the midst of their relationship to have a terrible relationship at all. They seem to get better and better with the shot of tequila in their relationship. I don't know what years they on. They done been married a long time. Yeah. Well, what you say? You say, Serena said, oh, your firstborn, your son, he passed away in 86. God bless you. With four more sons. All your babies grown, Wanda. They grown. And you got boys, girl. God, 39, 37, and 35. All boys. All boys. So how do you... I mean, it may come off like a dumb question, but I gotta, like, were you missing having a girl? Like every time you had a boy that you like, dang, trying to get a girl. You never got blessed with a girl. So it wasn't in God's will to give you a girl. But he gave you four strong boys. So you did want a girl, huh? So after the fourth one, what you say, that's it? You done? You didn't want to keep trying? I don't like that term. Like, do you want to keep trying? Like, why don't you just keep trying? Like, I hate the way that is said. You want to try some more. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But look at God, gave you four more, four more. Now, I I wanted a boy, at least one, maybe two, but fortunately I had the girls. You say clip, burn, and tie. What? You was fertile, girl. You had them there four boys like that. Mm-mm. You, the oldest son graduates next year, and his daughter graduates sixth grade. Girl, your babies are old too, Serena. Your babies up there too. No, your babies are up there. Wow. But I don't. I think about Coda Bear, having a baby right now. She doesn't show any signs of it, and she's controlled up. She's got her birth control and stuff going on. So, but we'll see, because you end up having these little boyfriends and stuff that start talking about that in a conversation, and I think that we should have a baby. So yeah, yeah. I'm at seven grandkids. I told y'all my two oldest grandboys, they just got their first apartment together. I was happy about that. So Chris and Cam is done locked in their first apartment, got their name on a lease, which is building them a rental resume, so they both working, got nice, decent jobs. They both are over at the community college taking some classes. So I don't know what those classes are, but they decided to go and take those classes while they working and stuff. But they were so happy. Grandma, I'm like, what? Me, we got us an apartment. I'm like, who gave y'all an apartment? Look at Miss Vern. Miss Vern, hugs, lady. Hey, huh? Yep. You say, yeah, I have seven. Chris, Cam, Kiwan, Mr. Noel, Keandre, Emerald, and Emmy. Yep. That's the crew, y'all. That's the crew. So I know for a fact that Nisha and Tasha's done. They're on the board. They're done. And like I say, the only person that's left now would to be is Coda Bear. If she ever decides, I don't. She hasn't talked about it. How you doing, Miss Vern? It's good to see you. Yeah. How many you got, Harlem? 35. Serena say hers is 35, 21, 28, and then your daughter turns 27. Dang, Serena, you had a back to back 28, 27. You a little old hot mama. Serena. Serena, you a little hot mama. How you have babies back to back 27 and 28? No, baby, no. I just no, honey. That's crazy, right? Tasha and Nisha's 6.5, and Nisha and Coda's 14.5, girl. It's like, oh no, I want no babies back to back. No, honey. I was too busy. I had too busy. I had things to do. But girl, look at Serena, little hottie toddy. You took a break at 35 and 31, Serena. Why? Why you take a break up in there? Then you went and changed your mind and hit back to back. Let me go look at Wanda's again. Wanda said, okay, Wanda, your 39-year-old have, oh, so we got seven grandkids together. I'm sorry, alike, Wanda. But let me see your age of your boys again. Let me see. 39. Wait a minute, Serena. Wanda might got you beat here. She like every other year. with with four of them. Dang, Wanda. I just couldn't imagine. I was like, I can't do it. All of your babies, Miss Vern, start with a J. How many you got, Miss Vern? Oh, okay. Harlem only got one grandson, so I know he is spoiled. When it's one, yeah, you're gonna spoil that baby. You're gonna spoil that baby like crazy. Yeah. Mm-mm. You said because I didn't want them all back to back. But I mean, you came very close. But Miss Vern, I mean, Miss Wanda, Wanda, you had them babies every other year. Girl, Miss Vern have five. You got five boys, or you got a mixture, Miss Vern. I just could not do back to back. I know he's riding. When it's only one grandbaby, shoot, yes. Yes, you will. It's like, well, because it's a lot easier. Five boys. Five boys. How I get all girls? Y'all got the boys. I couldn't. Oh, I could not get them. I just. Well, I guess it wasn't in God's plan. No boys, and I wanted boys. I really wanted boys. I ain't gonna lie, shit. I almost left Nisha, but in the hospital, because they was like, I never did the ultrasounds to reveal the gender, right? So I was like, when I had Nisha, right? I was up at Northwestern Hospital in Chicago, right? And they brought the baby, and I was like, well, what is it? Oh, it's a girl. I was like, you got my, you know what? Yeah, put her back over in the bassinet, clean her up or whatever. I'll do. I'm gonna tell you guys, yeah, I was a little disappointed. So it took me a minute from, you know, to really want it to be full of joy. It took me a minute. It really did, y'all. I mean, then we get home and you know I get I know some people would label it like it wasn't depression. I wasn't none of that. I didn't have postpartum and all of that stuff, right? But I sunk into a deep aloneness time. I've sunk into like, yeah, okay, all right. Like I was really responding to people like, yeah, I know I got a baby, because they kept trying to bring her to me. And they was like, well, you got to hold the baby. I was like, I ain't got to hold the baby. It's enough of y'all here, right? Because I had a sitter there at the time with Nisha, right? And I don't know. It took a minute for me to snap out of that. It wasn't a boy. And then, I started hearing, well, you can't neglect the baby. And you can't. When I say I wasn't changing no pamper, I wasn't getting up, getting no bottle. I wasn't doing. I didn't comb no hair. I didn't give no baths. I didn't do none of that till probably, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks or something like that. 8 weeks, I finally snapped back into reality. And it's like, yeah. No, I think that the family visitation who was coming by and, kind of staying over and helping, I think when they all started to disappear and I realized I didn't have no help no more. It was like now I had to force myself to, okay, you got a girl, go do this parent stuff, all over again. But then after being alone those few days and stuff, and I couldn't stop combing hair. I couldn't stop looking at it. I was like, oh, now I'm snapping out of it. Now I'm at the point where not you, I was selfish too, you guys. You couldn't touch Tasha. You couldn't take her nowhere. Me and Tasha spent a lot of time downtown Chicago at the Buckingham Fountain. I told you guys that story, right? She loved the color of the fountain. So we used to spend a lot of time down there. And but when I had Nisha was a animal lover, so we spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time strolling her at the Lincoln Zoo or the Brookfield Zoo. She love that. But then, like I said, I grew into like, nope, you couldn't touch Nisha. Ain't no holding her. Ain't no picking her up. I got selfish as I don't know what, yeah. But at first, I promise y'all. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that. How the doctor would diagnose you with it and all that stuff. I just was disappointed. And then it's like, am I mad at God? Am I mad at this? And I did not know no genders of none of my kids. Didn't want to know. You got 10. Wanda got 10. 10, baby. 2, 5, 6. Well, you know what? That's sounds normal because you got 4 grandboys, and between the 4, you can see 3 kids. 3 or 4 kids. I'm with those. So, girl, holy smokes, 10. Your life should never be bored. You should never be lonely. You got a 2, 5, 6, 8, 10, 2 10s. You're 12 up until the 10 years old. But they keep us busy too, though, Wanda. They keep us busy too. You got lots of attention and action around you, honey. Interesting. You get to watch so many different personalities grow. Yeah. You got 10. Ouch, girl. Somebody ain't getting no birthday gift that year. You feel me? I'm like, Grandma, it's my birthday. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna do yours this year. Then I'm gonna do, ZZ's next year. Oh, God. That's a lot of birthday gifts, Wanda. What do you do? I know for the 2 and the 5, the 6, you might not have to do nothing. Little toy, here and there. But now we're talking the 10-year-olds, 12, 15, and 16. Do you get gift cards now? They your world. I know that's right. And you know what? They make us mad, but they also make me, mines make me mad sometimes, but they bring more laughter than they do making me mad. Sometimes they'll get on my nerves. Like, Cam, yeah, Cam's something else. But y'all gotta check Cam out on his Instagram. Is it his TikTok? He be doing his videos, and he be cracking me up. Like, okay, then he be like, "Well, Grandma, I see yours too." I'm like, "I told y'all to stay off my page. Stay off my page." He said, "Well, your page says 18. I'm over 18. Like, I don't care. Stay off my page before I block you off." Yeah. But 10's got to be wonderful. But Miss Vern, how have you been, lady? How you been? I know you probably been in the bushes somewhere, sitting there laughing your behind off at this stuff out here. I know you have. Everybody be, saying that they leaving and disappearing and stuff. I know all y'all be in them damn bushes. I know. I know. Sometimes it's okay to click on here, like, let me go see what the foolery is. And guess what? I can imagine you sitting back like, yep, same old stuff, but this stuff is fun. Hi, love. Hi, Sir Miguel. How are you? Staying cool, Sir Miguel, or you ain't outside? Because it is scorching us today, but it feels good. It feels good. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Fern. Yeah. So, but I was just bored and wanted to come on and say hey to you guys. Sitting here, I pretty much got everything done and all of the new stuff that came in today. I am not working on this until tomorrow. So I was just sitting here reading. You know what I was reading? Let me tell y'all this. Or y'all, let me tell y'all. Let me pull it up. So I was like, I read my books and stuff, right? Now, if I'm reading certain drama books or love books and stuff like that, I'm all into it. I'm all into it, right? I can't wait to see what the next chapter is, and I can't wait. Let me see how, what the ending is gonna be. But let me tell y'all, I pulled this up. Let me read it to y'all. I'm gonna pull it up here, not my phone. So I notice sometimes that there are some things that I have to read, right? And then all of a sudden I get real sleepy. I'm not sleepy. I'm not even sleepy. Why am I getting sleepy? Is it certain material? What's going on here, right? So then I looked it up, right? Let me tell y'all what I put in there. I put in there. Why do I get sleepy when I am reading a book? Right? That's what I put in Google, right? Because I was interested. Like, how am I reading this? I'm reading something pertaining that that I need, right? And I have read plenty of things that I needed, based on what I'm doing here. And I haven't gotten sleepy like this, but I'm reading this, and at some point it kind of, retaining, like, oh, this is some boring stuff, but I got to read this information, and get my notes out of it. And it's equivalent to some of the other things that I've been reading, and I can read right through it. I'm like, oh, but what I'm reading over here has like exuberating story behind it, right? So like you reading let's for example say the cop story, right? And there was a hit and run, and I'm reading, and you want to know, and oh my God, there was four people in the car. So now my impulse is rising, right? Because I want to get to the rest, and oh, and what happened, and oh, well, did the guy go to jail? Who died? So right, but today I'm sitting here reading that has none of that. It's just all language, blah 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 blah, and I promise y'all, my head just dropped. I was bored as heck reading this, but I had to read it to get through it, right? So I pulled it up. Hey, Kendra, why do I get sleepy when I read? How many of you guys go through that? Be honest. How many of you guys pick up a book? You know that you wasn't sleepy a second ago, but you kind of relaxed your body. You're sitting down. Even the Bible, Sir Miguel. Even the Bible. Because I have fell asleep trying to read scriptures. I pulled my glasses off. How you doing, Kendra? How are you? Hey, Sheila. Hey, is the weather scorching you, Kendra? Hold on, y'all. Uh-huh. He
Oh,
did
you're right,
what?
but that's all right. Apparently, he sent Richard an email to have him ask me why I was. I mean, I took several. Sometimes take Friday
Right,
and Monday off.
right.
he was wondering what was going on.
You don't have to explain them.
Right.
Not if there's.
It's not even
You
an
do
issue.
not have to explain any of that. You put in your lead,
Yeah.
and their job is to see if the board is available, the day is available for
Yeah.
you, and approve it timely or not.
Yeah, I just
You
wanted
do
to
not.
make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all you could tell him. You
Yeah.
could say I, it's personal. I'd
Yeah,
rather
and
not say.
yeah, and I told Richard, I mean, I'm not mad at Richard
Yeah,
at
I
all. It's just
understand.
that, Smith and Son, he's following
Right.
his
Mm-hmm.
boss's.
Yeah. Well, just let me know how that worked out for you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if need to be addressed, then I will. But if you're saying you're okay, it's unusual, right?
Yeah.
It's never been access.
Yeah,
But because there's another one thing that we are watching for is, are they getting these rules, these stipulations? Are they coming from Cynthia? So we're watching that, and if so,
Okay.
then it, she's telling them wrong, because it's not past practice and it's not contractual. What are we doing?
Right.
So, and I get that. So, but just let me know.
Okay.
So when are you expecting it back?
Oh, oh, yeah, I put one in today for July 27th.
Okay. So they got
So that's
time to get
29
it.
yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
got time to
29
get it back to
days.
you. Okay.
And I was off yesterday, so otherwise I would have turned it
So
in
now
yesterday.
they want to know why you
Yeah.
want to use all your.
Yeah, I got annual leave available.
I know. So, but however, they still shouldn't be questioning you
No,
about
yeah.
what is it for.
Yeah.
You have an option on the slip if you want to, um, explain and tell them, but that's voluntary.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not forced to fill that out.
Oh, yeah.
People put it on there because sometimes it would help. Like if I have my orthodontist appointment and I write in there, I tell Eric, listen, I'm orthodontist appointment, so I need I don't care what you got to do up there, but I need to have a leave because it wasn't dentist. But so just let me know if anything else,
Okay.
comes across. And did you put your time? Because I want to make sure everybody put the time on the slips as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I always put that time on there, because then that's something I'm thinking could come, and they'll be like, well, so and so put the slip in before you. I need those times on
Right.
those slips so
Yeah.
I can make sure that
Mhm.
they're not finding a reason
Right.
to deny you.
Okay.
Got it?
All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks. That's
You're
all I wanted to
welcome.
know.
All right.
I just thought to bring that up because
Unusual.
yeah, it is
Unusual.
very
So
unusual.
rightfully so, you should have. Yeah. All right. See you later.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for everything that your union representatives do for us.
Oh, you're welcome. Just doing the job, right?
Yeah.
Doing the job. Now I got to working on something else, because I got people not getting level 5. So now I need to pull and see who's all on level 5 and who's not. And I noticed we haven't done that in a long time, so it needs to be updated anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yep. Bye. She look Kendra say, "Girl, it is too hot now. It is lovely. It's lovely. Just don't be out there that long, honey. Just don't be out there too long. You gotta dip in and dip out of it." But Sarita said she fell asleep watching something on the cell phone. You haven't read your book in years, but let me tell you, because I was reading it, right, and I put the question in, why am I, why do I fall asleep reading a book? I just kept it simple like that, right? So then it comes up, y'all. I thought it was, I'm like, what? This isn't actually true. Like, I don't have, this. So now I'm like, I'm going to read it to you. But I'm like, okay, let me go to the doctor. I'm not going to go to the drugstore and get any of those vitamins and stuff like that, because a lot of that stuff is just waste of money, in my opinion. I think that now, after putting this question in, and it's given me some reasons of why I'm falling asleep when I'm reading particular things, right? I'm like, no, okay, if this is what it is, then now I'll just find a way to reactivate it. And I'll tell you what I mean in a second, though, right? So I said, why am I getting sleepy when I'm reading a book? So the overview comes back to tell me that falling feeling sleepy while reading usually happens because it is a physically undemanding activity combined with heavy mental focus. I know, Harlem, but I'm big mad right now because I'm like I want to finish this read, and I'm like, oh shit. So, but that's what it says. It is a physically undemanding activity combined with a heavy mental focus. It's the stillness of your body, meaning that you're sitting still, okay? You're not active, you're not moving around, your body is getting relaxed, your mental is relaxing on you, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to set a great example for it in a second, right? It says, and your brain converting words into mental images can quickly trick your mind into a resting state. I'm like, really? Okay. So it says here are some distinct factors that causes the sleepiness. Physical stillness. When your body reads, your body is generally inactive while your heartbeat slows down, cueing cueing your body that it is in a rest mode. And it does, because I used to do it with my audiobooks. You say they your best friend, they go quicker. Well, yeah, because you're listening to the read, but Harlem, you still don't find yourself needing to rewind it because you might have missed something because you kind of felt your mental kind of uh, going into a more relaxed phase. Because sometimes I do that. Like, okay, what did he just say? And then I was like, oh, did I just kind of nod a little bit? So now I have to rewind the audio back as well. So it's kind of the same thing. So it says the eye strain. Now, I did used to have this pretty bad, and that's why I actually went to go and see about glasses, right? Because I would read for a while, and all of a sudden my eyes would just tear. I used to have the kids say, Mom, you crying? No, I'm not crying. As I'm reading, my eyes would just fill with water and just tear and tear. So that frustrated me a lot, and it started to detour and discourage me from reading because I was like, I have something that is affecting my eyes. So I started putting the books down, I was like, okay, but then I wasn't happy, with putting the books down. So let me go and see about some glasses and pick these books back up, right? Well, it says, with the eye strain, is focusing on small text requires your eye muscles to constantly jump left to right, which causes fatigue, especially in dim light. Your blink rate also drops, which dries and tires your eyes. Now, I know, I think my mom's husband, he uses eye drops. I know quite a few people uses eye drops. Now, I started to do the eye drops. We're talking almost $7 to $12 a bottle for them little bitty eye drops, right? And they got the numbers on. And when I tell you, it did not change anything about my eyes. I was so upset, right? The only thing that I seen that works effectively when it comes to an eye drop was what is it, Visine, for people who was getting high and their eyes would be red, or whatever, the allergies or something where you rubbed in your eyes red. You could drop a speck of Visine in there, it'll clear that redness right on up. But with all these other eye drops, man, I was still crying after spending all that money on them things, on them little bottles. Okay. And then it's the mental processing. Your brain is working overtime to decode text, visualize scenes, and store new information. And I think that sometimes that's where I struggle at, right? Because I have so much wired up in my head. It's like I haven't removed anything. I'm stored, it's like I'm storing it all. So now when I come across new things that I have to store, there's no more room there. So now it's like, okay, I'm putting it inside of my, what do you call the temporary part of the brain, right? It's just not, it's just not sticky. And then it goes away. But all of the old stuff that's up in my brain, like it won't go away. All of the new stuff, what I'm saying is, it don't stick no more. It just, if it's really not irrelevant, like in my life, it really fades away. I cannot recall a lot of my classmates and things like that names. And, I just can't. I cannot recall everybody's freaking birthday. I just don't remember. So you're gonna have to tell me, because no, I do not know what color my car was back in eighth grade. I think it was blue, might have been brown. I could tell you the make and model, but I don't even remember the color, y'all. I don't know that shit. Like Harlem said, shit. I'm at the big M. I'm old. Childhood condition, as suggested by the users. Well, they uses Reddit. Sometimes I like to read the things on Reddit. Not all the time. Sometimes I will. Many people have conditioned themselves to associate books with sleep because they were read to. Now, this is what I was going to tell y'all. How I'm like, okay, this has some association to it, right? Remember reading the books and to your kids, or your babies would be like, Mom, read me this book. Dad, read this book to me. And about what, 10 minutes of the read, they sleep. So and I was like, well, am I bored? Did you not like the story? Or no, it's soothing sometimes. So it's relaxing. So your mind is going into that relaxed state, and also because the immobility of your body, not being active, moving around, doing a whole bunch of stuff, it's like you're gonna go to sleep. I'm in that realm. I'm like, oh, I'm sleepy. I have to put the book down. But it says here, relaxation in alpha waves. Reading a book reduces your stress levels, triggering alpha brain waves, which are associated with a calm, drowsy mental state. Isn't that crazy? Now, does it matter like where you would read the book? Well, we know if you're reading the book kind of laying across the bed or propped up in your bed, probably within maybe less of an hour, you're going to be asleep. You say Perry and menopause have, girl. Yes, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I found a solution for my menopause, though, especially at night when I'm laying down, right? I just kick my foot out. Once I kick one of my feet from up underneath the covers, girl, I'm nice and cool. I'll have no problem with menopause. None. Through the day, that I'm up and about like I am now, nothing. No flash, no nothing. I be looking at these people like, why you got, what's wrong with you? And I'm like the same age, with some of the women that I done grew in here, girl. And I was like, whoo, 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 flash. And I'm like, flash, you have flashes through the daytime? Of course they do. And I was like, it's like, you don't? I'm like, no. Only when I lay down. Only when I lay down. And it usually triggers, I don't know, maybe about 20 minutes into my sleep. So then I'll wake up for a second, and as soon as I kick that leg out, it's easy peasy for the rest of the night. That's it for me. I do not feel it. Not at all. I don't have those sweats, and you be sweating too. I do not. So I say it's something y'all eating. You know what it is? Y'all need to stop eating them onions and tomatoes. That's what's doing it to you. That's what's killing it. Y'all eat them darn onions and tomatoes. I'm trying to tell you. I've been trying to find a research on that. I'm trying to see if that is could be what's causing a lot of these old hot flashes in women. Mm-hmm. See, we got to look in some areas where the scientists ain't really looked and done some testing on. But I know a lot of y'all eat onions and tomatoes. I don't eat onions and tomatoes. And I'm like, well, maybe that's why I'm free from, all of the sweating and stuff like that. No, I cannot buy you a PS5. I do not. Um, I don't have no money, and yeah, I don't. I don't even buy those games. Like, I don't PS5. You know. But I'm just saying though, sometimes I believe it's what we eat that will trigger it like that. And they say to find that instead of a scientist, and they're doing all of these project and the programs where you can go in and be a guinea pig for testing and stuff like that. A beauty. I promise you, I'm researching that. I'll be looking everywhere, all over on Beijing website. It's somewhere, cause ain't nowhere in the world you gonna tell me that there is some type of food that is not contributing to women sweating their butt off because they menopause. Why? What's causing it? What is causing all of these freaking hot flashes? What? It's something. It's something, sister. I'm trying to tell you something. And I could just tell you from my experience, because I don't eat onions and tomatoes, I do not have hot flashes. So if you're on the patch, did that alleviate some of the symptoms of hot flashes? Nobody. I'm trying to tell you it's the fact. If they would leave these onions and tomatoes alone, it will reduce all of that hot flashing symptoms that you're having. I'm trying to tell you. Because it worked for me. Trust me. You say you smoked a joint to Miss Byrne, that is not fair because smoking a joint will calm down anything. So stop. You know you need to smoke. Now, Miss Byrne do have a better second option, okay? So, I mean, Harlem, you might need to fire up a joint. Hey, hey, Harlem, you have to sneak off to the car some darn well so grandbaby won't be smelling it. Oh shit, Miss Burr says shit. I know how to fix all this. I'm about to find me up a joint. Miss Burr said I'm about to numb all this up. Oh my God, I love you, Miss Burr. You just made me laugh so. I didn't think of that, but I don't smoke weed. But when you actually think about it, though, I mean, that's being counterproductive, right? Harlem, if you don't get your butt out there, go get you a 20 twin, get the rolling up. We we done broke record, girl. Me and Miss Bird done solved the problem, honey. No onions, no tomatoes, and roll you a joint, boo. Beauty says she's been anemic, but after my full hesto, they put you on the patch. But I'm saying though, cause aren't you premenopause now? So if you're on the patch, is it showing um, any difference with alleviating some of the menopause symptoms? All right, is it better for you, or is the menopause still, about the same of what Harlem's is? And Serena's, nobody say, what you say, nobody? Nobody just laugh. I think nobody, you ain't 50, you ain't over your 50s yet, are you? But you can get menopause in your 40s, I believe. I believe you be menopause in your 40s. Oh, you hit it at 30. Okay. I don't even know. I want to say late. I want to say 40s, middle 40s. I believe for me. Because I used to talk about the ladies here. I'm like, what's wrong with this woman? Why this woman got all these fans on? I used to walk around here shutting all the fans off. So then, my other girl was like, girl, these women menopausing right now. I was like, okay, but why did, like, what they burning up or something? She was like, mm-hmm. And I was like, but I think I'm older than her. And she was like, well, it just ain't hit you yet. Me too. Me too, beauty. I did too. I did too. But that's not the truth. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. I watched my sisters, honey, sitting there with sweat pebbles on them, and they were menopausing. Miss Burns said she was 30. She started at 34, so that's a long time, though, ain't it? I mean, I guess we can be over the hill of saying it's miserable because it's nothing but Mother Nature, right? It's part of female genetics, right? This is just what we have to go through. So I think that we should be past, it's miserable. It's just gotta deal with it. But what about the men? Men, I think men menopause, right? They have male menopause, right? Right? Hey, Scarlet Love. Hi. What's going on, buddy? Let me see. Man menopause. Let me see what they symptoms are. Oh, nope. Man menopause is called andropause. It's or a late onset of hypogonadism, refers to a natural age related decline in testosterone. Unlike women who experience a rapid drop in hormones during menopause, a man's testosterone level falls gradually at about 1% per year. Oh my. Theirs usually begin the andropause for men. It says that it usually begins in the mid 30s and 40s to 40s. Yikes. And you know what? And I knew this was going to come up on here. So this is, one of the reasons why most of the men, our men, yeah, um, go through the erectile dysfunction. And there's a lot of men who are in denial about it that would never admit that they are going through andropause. Men don't go through that. Yeah, yeah, they do. And I, but that's what it says. Decreased the libido, fewer spontaneous erections, and erectile dysfunction. Yeah, they lose loss of muscle mass. They have increased belly fat, fatigue. Sometimes they go through hot flashes. And emotional and cognitive, they have mood swings, irritability, lack of motivation, and poor concentration. Isn't that crazy? And I know we be saying that, oh, us women go through it. Men go through it too. You just don't hear them talk about it as much as the women do to make it profoundly noticeable. Or to have as many research studies or advertisements being done about it, so for it to be heard as much as the women. Every time you turn on TV, it's something about the woman this and the woman that, the woman that you don't. But now I think I could say it has become increasingly noticed on some commercials. Beauty, how's that rose treating you? Hey, Beauty. Remember we had the live on the rose? I still ain't bought one. Beauty, Beauty had her rose. Beauty, can I tell your story? A beauty. Now you know when you flipped on that camera, I seen that rose over there on that on the counter in the bath. But you remember when we did the live on it? We had fun that day. It was funny. I forgot what live it was. And yeah, okay. I was just want to let you know I still never invested in one, but I thought you had one, so I was gonna ask you, you know what what your results were like with. I re- I remember. I just had to pick on you, girl. You know I'm picking on you. It says while age is a primary factor of lifestyle, like diet and exercise, chronic illness, and obesity. Now, let me tell you, I think that the percentage of men that goes into denial about this situation, but they know that something is wrong. They know something is wrong. They know that they ain't working it or it ain't working like it used to, right? And but it's because, in my opinion, that they also now have become too lazy, to address it. They'll just dance around it. You're not going to see many of them. I'm talking about the older men. You got the younger people, you have very few. The percentage is very, 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 very low of the older men that is coming and going into the gym or working out at home or changing their freaking diet. We have seen the increase of the belly fat grow like 8 months pregnant, 9 months pregnant. And there's a whole lot of men that feels like, you know, their physique and their conditions should be okay, with the woman. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure that there's a whole lot of men that feels like that, and it's because they've been with the person for so long and they got comfortable and this or that, but you'll never see them, you know, getting themselves back together, but they always expect for the female to have it all the way together, which is crazy to me. It's like crazy to me, but they have all of these health programs and health studies and all of this stuff that you'll have a very high percentage of men running to get some answers, right? And of course, they'll retort to getting some injections and taking all of these vitamins and these pills and trying this and doing that. And when it's right there in your face, they never will give the gym or a change of diet the first opportunity, the first chance to see if they can work in that area to eliminate the blood flow restriction, to the penile and get it back right. I used to be told, this was my brothers, right? My brothers used to say, all the men's stomachs that's done grew extra large, that's, see, skin has to pour from somewhere. So they used to be like, we would sit on the porch and my sister stuff, there might be eyeing a guy or something like that. And the guy might have a big belly, right? And so my oldest brother, they'd be like, I don't know what you're looking at him for. I told you when the stomach goes out, the ding ding goes in. I'll never forget it because, we used to sit on the porch and laugh like that. So now my brothers are not around and it's just us girls out there, right? And I'm talking about at the age of 20, 30, we sitting on the porch and we chilling and, like all of their stomachs start to grow, right? And we would tease each other, Pat, Pat, his stomach is out, ding ding's in. That's what brother says. But here's the crazy thing, we don't leave them. You're stuck with them for life. You've been, in this relationship forever and ever and ever. And it's like, now you settle for it. I'm willing to bet you that most relationships, the female cheats on the guy or falls into depression. You say alcohol will do it too, huh? You know, falls into the silent depression. Ain't nobody for them to talk to about it because it's a very tough subject. You may feel that it's a tough subject. You don't want your friend out here thinking that your husband ding ding ain't working because his stomach poking out. It been poor, but it's a fact. Skin has to pour from somewhere, and it's gonna find somewhere on your body to take just from the intake of what we're doing to it, just like with your stomach when there's no more room to stretch your tummy out. Tattoo, don't you start this shit today. Tattoo, come on. Dang, I'm gonna block you because I'm talking to my ladies today. Tattoo. And you wouldn't even come in here to say, hey, Pap. You just come in here with this stuff. Not today. Let me holler at my ladies. Jesus Christ. Beat it. Stop. Be nice today. Boy. One of my trolls, y'all, but for some reason I'm gonna have to put him on discipline because he not acting right now. And I like Tattoo, but Tattoo, not today. Thank you. Love you. Now bye, cause I'm talking to my girls, and hit the like button. I get you. You come back Saturday. That's our day. I get trolls y'all day. Now love me and be gone. Let me holler at the girls. Yeah. So that a lot of us just don't. Women just don't. They just go into this whole little wormhole and stuff, knowing that they're going through. But what about the ladies who do try to talk to their partners, and then the partners are not trying to hear you, and they're in denial, and all of this and all of that. It's like, what about those? Because you have some of those out there too. You really do. So, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that to y'all. But I'm trying to tell y'all, ladies, if you guys just follow me and Miss Vern remedy, then that is no onions and no tomatoes, and roll you a reefer up, and you're gonna be just fine. You say there's a lady on TikTok that says Cardi B kidnapped. What? I just saw her post up her about the younger with the baby boy. Like, who would do that? That's crazy. It's crazy that they would put stuff out, like that. But Cardi B has no intentions on suing every darn body. She went after that Tasha K with that lawsuit, and that's all she literally wanted to do was to get like Tasha K. She knows it's a whole bunch of people out here putting out information. But on the other hand, I don't want to sound like a hater right now, but sometimes your opinion, people take it as, you're a hater. I like Cardi B. I like her music. I don't like, maybe it's not Cardi B. Maybe it's the public. I, I don't like the worshiping given to, see, that's a sticky one too, though, Beauty. I don't like when the, I, yeah, I don't like to see our people get so caught up in worshiping someone, you know, like they are queen and king. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'll click on the Cardi B and I'll read a few of the comments, and I have to shake my head and I leave. But can't judge the person, do this, but I know that I'm not going to be sitting up worshiping anybody, especially if I know that I don't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. I'm going to say, okay, I like her, this or that, but I ain't never getting off my grind to try to reach to a point of my life to where I want to be, financially. I get all the fan stuff. I get all the superstar stuff. I get all the artist stuff. I get all of that. And I know that a lot of them can't be there without the public. I get that. Buy my clothing, buy my this, buy my that. However, this is where I'm at with the music industry, so to speak, type of artists, right? It's like you're up there now. You're up there. You have made millions. You got way more money than you can ever imagine. And well, I can't say way more money than you would spend because I do notice their spending habits. When they show it on social media. The other day I saw her putting up, I don't know, about four different kind of what's her favorite purse that she bought? What was it? Was it coat? She was showing off her four favorite purses, even though I know that she probably didn't pay the full price for them, or she's probably doing a promotion, advertising for the company to help them draw in their sales, and then she gets a percentage of a commission and things like that. So, I'm aware how that works, but let's just say that, you know, she did buy four or five purses, and one of the purses was ugly because it had real gold, half of a giraffe body on it. Like, what? I mean, I get fashion, but it was ugly to me. Anywho, um, and now you got to sit there. You got a person on there who has supported, bought $200 tickets, $1,000 tickets, and they're at every concert. And I get it. This is what that person chooses to do, and this is what makes them feel good, and they love to support. But I think that there's just limits to supporting. And like I say, I'm willing to bet you these are the people out here when laws get changed or that has to do with certain benefits that they were getting, and they go into a rage or this or that, and it's the same person that set up there that afforded that $2,000 ticket. See, I look at life like that. I look at life a whole lot different now because I can sit and only imagine, even though I don't have that type of artistic skills to rap or to take my clothes off or to do that. Or be in movies and stuff like that. I never thought about that line of work. I just never thought about it, gave it any thought. Um, it's like, once you got there, then you got there. Like now, you'll see Denzel Washington in some movies here and there, keeping income coming in. But how come we didn't see those people? I've never seen these people out here doing what all of these new artists are doing. They actually, whether if you really kind of look real deep into it, most of them rely on the social media, in my opinion, for any additional income. You don't see them out there doing humanitarian speaks and receiving awards for that and stuff for that. Let me know when Cardi B goes and save, 1,000 kids from Africa or or if she's building some type of, study camp or for boys and girls or something like that. Never spend that type of money like how, and I know a lot of people is not in favor of Oprah Winfrey, but Oprah Winfrey has also spent a lot of money, around the country. Obama, well, look what he's done. He's opened up his center down there. By the way, my mom says it is so beautiful. She says that on the second day, she didn't drive by on the first day. She went on the second day. She says the line was still long. You cannot get tickets to get in. She said they are so far sold out on tickets to get in to get your visit and go and see the displays and all of that stuff. That's um, that they have displayed in there. She said the tickets to get up in the Obama Center is so far. It's gonna take you a while to get tickets to go in. Yeah, I know. She probably does do a lot of tax write off, but um, she was doing also something of an great purpose that we all would have liked to see, coming on her show, and she's got iPads, up under the chair for everybody in the audience. Okay, yeah, she might have spent a good 30,000 on them books and the box of trinkets and things like that. And you get a car and you get a car and you get a car, but the people still got blessed with a car, but she gets to write it off. Yeah, and it's like not even losing a dime. Yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is that you don't see that same imagery coming from our younger and newer artists out here. It's like they just taking and they just taking and it just doesn't stop and it doesn't stop. Yeah, they may have their private donors, donations or their private yeah, donation funds and stuff of who they want to help out and stuff like that. Yeah, I get that, but it's like I don't know. It's almost like brainwashing, It really is. But like I say, it's the era where we started off the conversation from the beginning. Like, should there be a policy where the corporations can now implement somewhere, maybe, I don't know, and say, hey, we got to put the people clothes back on coming into the public in particular stores. Um, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like how I feel about that. So I don't know. But you ladies, hey, thanks for the conversation. Y'all just helped me talk down another hour. So now I'm going to tidy up. Love you girls. Miss Vern, good to see you. Nobody, thank you for coming through, spending some time with us over here on the One Pap Show. I appreciate you. Look, Kendra came through, show us some love. Hope you guys stay cool and tattooed. Thank you for allowing me to continue having the conversation with the ladies in the chat because I know you was about to go blow it up because you love it here and I'm gonna give you your day. I'm gonna give you your day. I love playing with my trolls, but I just needed this day. And see how nice he was, y'all. Beauty. You see how nice my troll was. He was like, okay. He says, I'm done. See? It was nice. That was very nice of him. Because after him, they was ready to go. They was ready to go up in here. They love them some papoose girl. Miss Sheila. Hugs, girl. Shout out to you for pulling up and coming through. I appreciate you. Now, y'all know me. I got to go be nosy in the screeds, okay? So I can see what shits and giggles I got for y'all. Now, it might be quiet, you know. Seems like it might settle down just for a minute. We don't know, to be for sure because anything can kick off at any moment out here. I kid you not. Okay? So, Wanda, love you, girl. Girl, 10 god darn grandkids. Who but Serena, I don't know. Serena and Wanda, yeah, they were some hottie toddies, y'all. Let me shout Serena out, y'all. Because Serena also is appreciated because Serena shares her adventurous lifestyle or her traveling. And when I tell y'all, I was like, oh my God, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go there. Serena has visited so many places, like beyond, she's passed me up. She's surpassed me, y'all. She didn't surpass me, but I have to put some of them on the bucket list. So I have been appreciative of Serena coming over here and sharing her view amongst many of us commentators out here doing on these microphones, and to share with me her adventurous lifestyle. Just absolutely beautiful. I'd be like, girl, I'd be like, and girl, she done been to so many concerts. She's been to so many different places. Canada was one of my favorites that she posted up to me. I just, Serena, what, you wasn't that fond of Canada though, were you? I don't know. So, um, keep shooting them through to me, girl. I love looking at them, and then it gives me some idea. Like, okay, I'm gonna put that on my bucket list because that is um, going to forever be one of my passions, and that is to travel to as many adventurous, historical, universal sites that I would love to go to. I'm not interested in the Grand Canyon like that no more. I'm like, I've been, I did the helicopter ride, we did the train ride, the Grand Canyon, it just didn't like do it for me. Like, oh my God, I love it here, and neither did Niagara Falls. I just was like, this is it. This is it. So we never made it over to Canada because he didn't bring his passport, and I forgot to. I had mine, but he didn't bring his passport. And I'm like, I laid everything out, but of course, a man is a man, right? And they expect for the woman, to make sure that they have everything packed up. You want to go to Vegas and I want to go to Bahamas, Vegas. Vegas 5 times is enough for me. And I actually have a, what is it, 3 days 4 night stay still saved up. I didn't pay for it, and the lady, she'll get in touch with me. She's like, well, it will always be here. That was like that timeshare stuff, where they give you that. So I had to pay the $99, and I paid that, and that was probably last June. And she'll send me an email or something letting me know. Well, just let me know when you want to take it. So this 3 nights and 4 days is for Vegas or Arizona. Those are the two places. So I told her, as long as I know that it's there for me, eventually I will follow through on it, because she's like, you pay for it. So it's going to be here for you. But I do think that there is an expiration date on it. I'm not sure if she gave me 5 years or something like that. But I've never been, oh, Myrtle Beach. No, I've not been to Myrtle Beach. No. Mm-mm. Serena said, too much smelling of this weed on the strip. Don't they be firing it up? It's like if you're talking about Vegas and you come out at night, yeah. But to me, it seems like it was a lot of police officers out there that was like really kind of staying on top of a lot of stuff. It's crazy. I think about what wasn't was is that where Tupac got shot at? Hey, Nisimo, isn't that where Tupac got shot at? And I'm like, how come every time I'm in Vegas, ain't nothing really jumping off down here? Nothing. No, I'm not going to Bangkok. Mm-mm, honey. No, I'm already in the grocery store and don't even know that different fruit that's coming over here from Bangkok. You got stuff look like toes, some piece of fruit look like a throat, all that stuff. And I ain't going to Bangkok. Mm-mm. I don't know their language. I'm not going to be exchanging currency over. I still want to go. Mm-mm. You say you need to go, but you scared to fly. I was. I'm okay with flying occasionally. I will not fly frequently. I just won't do it. No. Occasionally, I'm like, all right, mom wants to go, over to, Arizona. All right, mom, let's go over there. You probably won't catch me back on an airplane for about another 2, 3 years after that. Mm-mm. I'm not a frequent flyer. Not at all. It's just it's too scary. They'll tell you, "Oh, just pray, everything will be okay." Yeah, be just your luck. You up there and that darn pilot done hit a pint of gin. I'm like, oh hell nah. Nissimo want to go to Bangkok. Girl, please. Mm-mm. No, Japan. What about Japan? You want to go to Japan? I don't. Mm. You only been to Atlanta and your home. That's it, Miss Vern. Dang. Why you ain't been getting out in Cardi B voice? Sigh. You need to get out. Sigh. I love to travel. Oh, I love to travel. Yeah. I love to travel, honey. Yeah. I vowed to never come back to Texas. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. After that visit down there in Conroe, is that how you pronounce it, Nisi? Is it Conroe or Conroe? Y'all can keep that. I ain't never been back since. No sir. Mm-mm. I couldn't, honey. She hurry up and spare my. Yes, that was my last visit in the state of Texas, down in Conroe. Ain't that hippie white? You don't have no friends, girl. See, you need to be here so I can pull up on you. But Miss Byrne, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I know it's white down there, Nisabel. Never again, but I've never been to Texas anymore once I come through Conroe. That was a wrap for me. No, and I have two friends that lives in Dallas, and one, yeah, Houston. I have family, but I just I just didn't come back down to Texas. Nope, go everywhere else except for goddamn Texas. Your first flight was in 2004 from Florida to Jersey. Your grandma and grandson. Well, you wasn't scared, Serena. Your first flight. I don't like it going up. I don't like it going down. Not Miss Bird, I know you in Milwaukee and you haven't called. No, we could have been and went to what's the I forgot the name of the damn steak place over there that I like, cause we got one over here too. It'll come to me. The cheese factory. Miss Bird, why didn't you call me so we can go to cheese factory? I ain't smoking no reefer with you, but I'd have sure had me a drink with you. Nisimo, we figured out how to get rid of the sweaty reactions to menopause. You are to have no onions and no tomatoes. And you can have one reefer a week. You will no longer have any side effects dealing with your menopause. No, no, you have family here in Pearland. Yeah, I don't care what family's at in Texas. Texas will, it's absolutely last on my list. Will never see me down there in Texas. No, and had no interest ever. And I made a promise to that once I left Conroe. Mm-mm. I tell you, we got the magic trick over here. No onions and no tomatoes and one reefer a week. That's what you got to do. We figured it all out. But y'all know what, ladies? I got to get up. I'm going to head up out of here. Y'all help me get through the rest of my day. Yep, y'all sure did. I can rely on y'all. Had a wonderful conversation. I appreciate that. Mm-mm. They got to change those laws first. Yeah. There's a lot of laws that needs to change, but we still have a lot of laws that needs to stay there too, Nisimo. I know that you are grounded on, a lot of laws of locking all of the men up. I just wish that you would narrow it because you do know that some of your men, especially the ones who are serious R people or serious SA people or serious kidnapping people or serious physical abuse people, they have to be dealt with. They really do. So it's like, how do you work a law to get around that, Nisimo? Because I know I heard you say plenty of times like you're tired of the law where it's allowed to lock all of your black men up. You say that a lot. But I'm like, okay, I need you to be a little bit more specific, sweetheart, because listen, some of these ninjas got to go, especially the ones that has no problem literally like taking a life, or carjacking you out your car, or physically abusing you. So I think maybe if we're gonna talk about reworking these laws, maybe we can talk about uh, applying different, applying how much time should be given to a person compared to the actions of the person, of what they've done to harm somebody. Now, let me say this though. Let me say this. Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, Nisimo, I believe, if I can remember with my time growing up, the law wasn't as stiff as it used to be. So now we have to ask ourselves, how much has the crime rate increased itself where you had your lawmakers go back and amend them to make the time more stiffer, like California, right? They went back and that's, I know, it was a three strike something and you're out. I forget who implemented and manufactured and signed that into law. Who did that one? I remember that. I just didn't get all into it or what to know the historic facts behind it, or the historic of who introduced that into law and who signed it, right? But who did the three strike? Matter of fact, let me look it up. Who implemented the three-strike law in that was California when I first heard about the three-strike law. Was it Clinton? You said you understand, but no one in the Epstein And I get that. But see, but that's where now you are having this big old fight as to, well, are we living? You said it yourself, right? Two things, two elements that you talk about. Are we living now back into the Jim Crow stages of life, or are we in this spiritual warfare, right? Is this law for only the blacks, or is this law only for the whites? You know, what that fight's been going on for centuries, right? Centuries. But how? It's the most difficult thing that you're going to ever find a resolution to. And the reason is because you have your black people who also comes probably in a very high percentage that believes that some of the white laws need to be there. Then you'll have, so as long as we have this mixture. But I have a friend at work, right, and he always talks about, yep, Clinton did. Thank you, Serena. I knew it. Clinton did that. And then from what I'm hearing, you know, they said that the Clintons actually not, I don't know if they own these penitentiaries, but they're behind um, a lot of they're backing a lot of the penitentiaries. So I don't know if they own them or whatever. I used to hear that too. Well, the Clintons own such and such of the penitentiaries and blah blah blah. So I don't know, but Nisimo, he says that a lot of the things are the way we are, and it's because we have mixed together so much in life. And when you mix together so much, talking about cultures, race, ethnicity, talk about all of those. When we started to mix all of this stuff up in life, it's like, how can they make a law to fit one one culture, or one race? How can they do it? We're all intertwined into one with everything ever since integration started. It's hard to fight it. He was saying that, this is what he said, right? I don't know, you could tell me how you feel about that. He says that everything should have been kept separate. In other words, it shouldn't have been no blacks with the whites, no whites with the blacks, no Chinese with the whites, no whites with the Chinese, no blacks with Japanese. All he's going to say that everybody was supposed to stay in like their own corner. This is kind of, he says, we would never have been into this, what you call cultural warfare. This was called a cultural warfare. The race warfare, the spiritual warfare. So I was like, wow. I don't know. Sometimes it makes sense to me, but then I also have to make sure that I'm not blindsided by reality and what's in front of me. It may not be right, but however, it's the way of the world, and we have been conditioned to say it's acceptable, and you just love what it is, and make the best of it, and then you just move on. For those that don't find love out of the intertwinement of things out here, right? And you can't find love in there because right now the country uh, is now designed that way. Then those are the people that we can expect that is going to be troublesome inside the world, because they won't accept what's right in our face right now. And the reality of it is that we're all so intertwined in everything, in everything. I grew up, and I started hearing the liberals and the conservatives. What? They not, like they ain't humans no more. Why? Who separated that? I started hearing Republicans and the Democrats. Okay, it's already designed for us to have these different perspectives and the views on very important things in this world. How how could we come now, as Kanye says, 600 years later, and we want to change that? No, Nisimo. I think that when it started off that way, having two-sided visions of things, and then separated with subtitles of this, we already didn't open the door, or the door was already established to have catastrophes. They can fight all day because this person thinks that this should happen, this person should think that this happen, because they're looking at what are the values of certain groups, or sometimes individuals, but more so certain groups. Well, this group over here, now we recognize that men like men or women like women, so now we need to take to the table to pass a law that they're that same gender should be granted the right to marry. It's the way the world just changed, and it's, well, what do you do? How could some law like that pass when we know that biblically it says different? But what about the people who don't believe in the Bible and prefer to push the law based on what man's perception and visions are? We're already doomed. So that's why I'd be like, you just gotta worry about yourself and do what's right. And if God is love, then they say you should be of love. And no matter what else is going on around in the world, as long as you maintain the presence of the Lord, right? Then your life um, should be sustained and filled with happiness, even though there'll be a little few bumps in the road about it, but you can't. That's how I live mine. Out of all of the stuff that I be seeing going on in the world, the whole Carmelo Anthony case, and stuff like that, right? Very emotional, very triggering case, but in situations like that, and not only with his, there's a whole lot of other devastating, unfortunate deaths going on. It's like you, as they say, you pray on it. I almost was diving deep into that. I almost allowed myself to be triggered emotionally, and felt like I needed to have a voice behind that. But then I get to looking around and looking around. I'm listening to um, at least 10 or 15 different commentaries and things like that. And this is like our race. You got some of our race who has agreed, and you got the other half that is disagreeing. Now they're fighting amongst each other because we can't get it right. And as long as an individual have their own different view or and their purpose of what they see and why they do the things behind what they are seeing, and my own race now is fighting amongst themselves over someone's else's unfortunate situation, that is what makes me push back. It's like, no, we ain't got it together yet. We ain't got it together yet. It to me, it's always something that will happen I take it as if there's a God, okay, this is God, y'all. He wants to see if y'all gonna get it together and pull it together to, you know, uh, get down on the stumping ground, and I got your back. But y'all say that um, God is not of midst of trouble, right? He doesn't. I don't know all the biblical and the spiritual words for it, right? But no mess, right? However that one goes, God don't do something in the mess, right? Well, guess what? I believe that, and I believe as long as the culture that I'm looking at, the race that I'm looking at, is going absolutely insane, and fighting amongst each other on him like he ain't coming. He ain't coming. I don't ever believe that God will show up and show out in the midst of chaos and mess. I think that He leaves it for the humans, since they have all the answers and they figured it out, to figure it out on your own. That's how I feel. I don't know if I should be feeling that way. I don't know if I should be saying it that way, but I'm telling you, honestly believe, I do believe that there is a God, but I don't believe that God shows up. I don't care how much people be sitting out there calling, oh, the God, He gonna show up. No, He ain't. Because y'all just said that God is not the author of confusion. God don't get in no mess. Why would He show up to this? Because this is some messy stuff. He done left it up for the people that know it all, can do it all, call themselves a king or higher than a queen and all. He gonna show up for what? You done figured it out. You got all. That's just how my stance is. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. Now I'm listening to all of these people um, celebrate, and it is a wonderful thing that to watch the NAACP and what's his name, Crum Law, come out. They firepower deep. They have established an extensive, strong fighting power as defense civil rights attorneys. So to watch them come, but I think that I know the purpose of them coming, and I think that I know what their goal is, to help fight some of the problems that occurred in the Anthony and the Austin situation at the track meet. But as I'm listening to all of these other people go at it out here, I'm like, we're talking about the appeal. We're talking about an appeal. And I'm like, okay, a lot of you people, you know, must know that they they have to look for what procedural errors, what constitutional errors has been made, because from what I watched, the defense attorney um, didn't have many objections to anything. He didn't preserve anything. There was no sidebars like on anything. So I'm like, well, what are they? What else can they bring? And I get it. We got all the black people want to know what Eddie threw in the garbage can. They want to know, they feel that, and I also felt that way too. I said, no, I feel this is a manslaughter case, and of course, they're saying that it wasn't a self defense. That Megan Kelly, I'm so glad Roland Martin is on her. I don't know if y'all been watching that one, baby, but y'all go and check out Roland Martin on Megan Kelly. When I tell you he saddled up and coming at her throat, man, I think he up to two or three videos on her now. Oh yeah. So, but here's the thing. I haven't came across anything with Megan Kelly saying anything about suing, or nothing with Roland Martin. One, because he's own and his own production over there. You can't strike him, can't take his channel down, can't do none of that, right? He done protected himself all around the board, but I never hear that. But however, I have heard her say it in some of the YouTubers, vloggers, content creators that has a YouTube channel. I've heard her threaten to sue some of those people, and I was like, oh wow, I guess, she knows that Roland Martin can probably match her financially with accumulating a team for a defense if he needs one. And but can this YouTuber afford, to um, financially afford a defense team, and let alone it? Let's just say she files a big financial suit and she wins. She knows that these people over here ain't probably got much money to um, satisfy her in her judgment if she wins one, if it's a civil suit, right? So that is just crazy. But listen, y'all gotta watch that, because that Megan Kelly, she's really like she's out of pocket. When I tell you that she is, you would think that the twins, the Metcalf dad, came out talking about some what did he call what was the phrase that they say he's saying, um whatever that, derogatory phrase that he says, right? Shit, you gotta listen to Megan Kelly. Megan Kelly has no problem showing her racism, character, watermelon felon. That, and so, and another thing I don't get, I'm like, I know that Metcalf dad said that what he would like to do is travel and go out and be a spokesperson on behalf of his son, and he wanted to share, and he's been getting those opportunities, right? But I think he's doing an overkill on it now. It's like, hold on, you might want to press pause for a minute, because you gotta know, and hopefully he's watching social media, that Carmelo, if his appeal is granted, to move forward on with before a hearing, based on whatever the Chrome firm is bringing, civil rights and things of so, at some point, like, you got to be a little nervous about it, so you can be out there and just overspeaking and overspeaking and overspeaking, and a whole lot of this stuff, if Carmelo Anthony's appeal attorneys is standing on business and looking like they may come out of this with a lot of pluses behind them, and now you got to eat all of those words and stuff that you were out there saying all of these social media platforms. So it's like, I don't know, last I looked at it, is the Eddie or somebody was throwing something in the garbage can, and it seems to, I don't know, they still on, the thing about, who got pushed, or was it really Carmelo's knife? And it's just so many abstract stories out there, you guys. It's just so many. I'm like, okay, so then I'll get burnt out from hearing it, and then I'll wait a while, then I'll kind of jump back to it just to get caught back up on it, So I don't know, did the jury do everything right? Did the judge do everything right according to the law? The prosecution team, those two guys, will they find some errors to be able to move forward, or grant Carmela Anthony a new trial? Well, we shall see. But guess what, you guys? I am really out of here right now, because I'm about to go home. Love you, girls. And I'll talk to y'all. Y'all know me. Sooner or later, I pop on here, so make sure you have on your notifications, so when I do come on, we can come back on and vibe once again. Later, Gators.